got news for you is every single business owner out there knows this pain point at some time or other. We've all done it. I could name friends of mine that have done it, family members that own businesses that have done it. And basically, we hire people out of frustration, exhaustion, fear, and it will cost you not only financially, but emotionally and culturally. So let's get into some stories and stats on what not to do with hiring.
Let's get
Any
it.
red flags you guys know?
I know a couple.
A few.
Maybe like one or two.
All right. So the truth is, when you have a bad hire, it costs you so much money. Like, I think that that's something that it's unspoken, but it is the truth, and we deal with it all the time.
We got to get back to the inspiration of this topic.
Go ahead.
It was it a 9 a.m. like phone call vent sesh where we were like, hey, remember when we hired that person or this person? We were like, yeah, what the fuck were we thinking?
Is that what it was? Because I can remember, I don't know if it was, I was with my chiropractor, Mark. Something happened, something was said, and I remember leaving being like, oh, I have this episode. Like, we got to get into this, but whatever. Yeah. All right, so the 9 a.m. phone call.
So the point of the story is we've made some really bad, like, hiring mistakes. I feel like I've made a lot, like, most of the...
Can I just put this disclaimer out there? I've never done any bad hiring because I don't do any hiring.
You're lying. One.
That's a lie.
Right, well, okay, that doesn't count. That was when we first opened.
We'll save that one for later.
I was like a baby then.
No, I'm actually kind of upset that she got fired, but anyway.
Wait. I hired someone that got fired?
Yeah.
Who?
We'll get into it.
You hired, I had to fire.
Oh, when you were on your honeymoon, right?
I don't know.
Is that what we're talking about?
I think so.
Okay.
So anyway,
that's your fault.
Back to what you were saying. Talk about some
stats.
Give them the stats.
75% of people who hire for companies admit to hiring out of desperation. Who's been there?
Well, I gotta say, it's like really hard to get to a point where like you're not hiring out of scarcity. Like, I feel like, how long have we been open? Like at Wayne, like I'll just say, like we've been open for what, 6 or 7 years? Like I feel like 2 years ago, like I was confident in the fact we're like, I'm not going to hire anybody who isn't like blowing me away. Mm-hmm. But like before that, when you need like bodies and, you know, support, and I feel like it's so easy to overlook a few red flags. Like I think it's easier said than done. And like the mindset of, you know, not hiring out of desperation is like kind of taboo almost.
Well, I think there's so many factors that come into hiring, and sometimes I think we just focus on some. Like, you might be blown away. You get someone that comes in for an interview and they might be the best stylist in the world. They have like, you know, the best numbers, and you just know they're going to, you know, kill it on your floor.
Yeah.
But then they suck culturally, like, and they just don't vibe with your team. And it's like, you know, so it's like you almost hired because their numbers blew you away, but, you know.
Which I imagine is a common mistake.
And then I also think you might, on the vice versa, hire somebody because you love them. Their personality was like, oh, they're part of us. They're going to fit in. And then they get out there and they just don't perform, and you can't coach them, and they don't want to be coached. And it's like, time to go.
Yep. Yeah. I'm just going to say what everybody's thinking. Actually, every business owner in America probably thinks this, but honestly, it is so difficult to find key team players that aren't going to disrupt your culture and perform the way that you perform. Be culturally aligned and be like a great asset to your team. It's not easy. It's really hard, honestly. And I feel like sometimes you find one out of those few things, but it's very rare that you find somebody that's full-rounded, a really great team member, and is going to bring a lot of value to your team.
I feel like we've been lucky in a sense, though. I feel like we have a lot of really, really good ones right out of the gate. Like,
we do,
that we know. Like, I mean, I can name like 4 that are up and coming right now that blow me away every day. Like, culturally, with their, you know, skills, everything.
I also feel like we've evolved with our interview process. Like, I feel like our interview and onboarding and like the structure of it all has really gotten really fine-tuned, and we're not just
that's really important.
Oh, you like to do hair? Come on in.
Well, that's kind of like how I interviewed that one person we had to fire.
I want to quick go back to that comment that you just made about we have a few really great up and comers. So here's 2 things that I want to mention. One is that when
I know what you're going to say. they're
So I
starting
think
out with us.
when I made that exactly when I made that comment that I just said about finding people, I'm talking about like applicants that are coming from a salon that are maybe applying to be a stylist.
Yeah.
They have a long list of history of places they've worked.
They're set in their ways.
They're set in their ways. They are very difficult to find. Whereas apprentices, when you catch them young and you're able to kind of help grow them and become a stylist and teach them skill sets and how to interact as a team member, that's a dream because you're building exactly what you want in a team member. And I think that's what, when you said we have a few up and comers, we absolutely do.
Yeah.
Because we got them really young. We got them, right off the press, and we were able to kind of teach them culturally. This might have been their first job ever.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have someone who has a history, I've worked at 3 salons, I've been in this industry for a long time, it's very difficult to mold them into, what you want them to be in your company.
We'll talk about molding. Like, I feel like after all these years of being in business and all the people that have come and gone, and I think one of the most important things when you're interviewing someone is, and I don't even know if you can really tell in an interview, but I think having people that are coachable.
Yeah.
If you have somebody that's not coachable, like, they can just wreak havoc everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're just like someone you don't want on your team at all.
There's an interesting stat that I want to share with you guys, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. So bad hires can cost 30% of first-year earnings. Some estimates put it between 50 to 200% of salary.
I read that too.
How does that make you feel? Because
Wait, can you repeat that one more time?
So it
I want to
basically,
process this. Hold on.
basically says that 30% of first-year earnings is what can cost you for a bad hire.
Okay.
The second part of it is that some estimates put it between 50 to 200% of their salary.
So what does that mean? Like, you waste money paying them to be trained and onboarded and all of that? Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, that sounds about right.
So I think to break it
that.
down, let's say, and I'm not going to use a stylist because I think that's a different pay structure and it's difficult, but I would use a front desk person or a manager. Let's say we hire somebody, we bring them in, we spend 60 days.
Can we just let everybody know we actually have done this?
Yeah. We spend 60 days investing in their training. So we're paying them an hourly rate to be here. Mm-hmm. We're paying our managers to train them. We're, making sure that they're compensated for all of the training. And then we go through the process and we realize within 6 months that this person may not be a good fit for the position and they leave. So it's like all of that money.
Yeah, we wasted
And
all
of
that
the time and money, effort, energy is out the door.
Yes, so I believe that stat.
Okay. That's
True.
interesting. Yeah.
True.
Well, we went through this pretty severely a few years ago.
Fun. It was not fun at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you were saying that, I feel like we haven't done that in a really long time.
So hold on. So anyway, with this type of thing that we're talking about, and this specific scenario was a manager position within our companies.
Yeah.
That was difficult. And I want to ask you guys a question right now. If you could hire, because I feel like this has been something we've thought about for the past 2 years now, do you prefer to hire in this position outside, like outsource a manager?
Exactly
or grow
what I was
within?
going to say. I feel like the biggest lesson we learned there was we just took someone who had a great resume and said, oh, look, you have some decent experience of being a manager, but being a manager at, a firm versus being a manager in a salon are two completely different things.
Well, hold on. So wait, we're getting back to your question about promoting within or hiring outsourced. I always 100% will go back to hiring within, promoting within. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just think what you're dealing with, and it's it's a sure bet right there.
Well, not only that, I feel like it's really hard to build rapport with a team when you're someone who's just joining a company, and when you already have somebody that's in your team that has actual relationships with the people involved, and then they get promoted, they're able to have a connection with the team more so than somebody that you just hire off the street.
Yeah, definitely.
I was talking to a friend last night about this who's currently interviewing for a personal assistant to him, and he was saying how how he has several extremely qualified candidates. And this is a big deal. He's talking about paying them an insane amount of money, possibly moving them and their families across the country. And to get this position with him. But his biggest concern is that there's somebody who I spend a lot of time with, and I need to know that they're going to be a great fit, because this is a 1-year position at minimum.
Oh, can I apply for this?
I kind of asked too. But anyway.
Does he want my resume?
So he was saying that like although he feels that this person might be a good fit, he's like extremely hesitant because of how big of a deal this is for his life, really. But I think that is where...
Why? What's the big deal for his life? Like,
because this is his personal assistant. You spend more time with this person than you do anybody else.
Oh, wait a second. I thought you meant for he was hesitant to hire this person because it was like a big deal for that person's life, not...
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
He's worried about himself, which makes sense because, this is a big deal for him.
Yeah.
But my point was that I think when he was talking to me about that, what I realized is that when you have someone who currently works for you, you at least have an understanding of their values, who they are as a person, and you're able to kind
ethic.
of, yes, you're able to grow them into be the person that you want them to be in this role. Whereas when you outsource, that's the part that you sacrifice. You don't know that. All you know is their resume and how well they interview.
That's true.
You actually don't know the person. So I think that's where the issues come into play. And this is exactly what we dealt with that situation. We hired somebody because they had a great resume and they interviewed well, but when push came to shove, they were not what they told us they were.
I know, but like on a twist of this too, I feel like sometimes you hire people, you outsource people. The reasons why I think people would outsource someone is because they're bringing something to your team that isn't there.
Yeah.
And I think that that's appealing to sometimes when you're interviewing. Like if you have someone with this incredible resume and experience and they're sitting there telling you like, oh, I'm going to do this and I can do this for you. And, and it really sells you.
Yeah.
I think that's why somebody would choose to hire an outsourced person rather than within.
Yep.
Because they're bringing something that you don't have, in your deck of cards.
What are some key changes that we've made with like interview process? Because I feel like when I first started interviewing, like it was just like a powwow, like we were just like talking.
One
and,
of
like,
the
chilling.
biggest key things is that you guys told me I'm not allowed to interview anymore.
Yeah, you're not.
I think that is like an incredible key for our company. I'm just going to sit this one out.
Well, I feel like to just kind of piggyback off of that, Heather, is that I interview a lot and I still feel like there's times where I make mistakes.
Yeah, it takes practice.
It's really hard. And to me, I think the question that you just asked about, like, what are things that you do? I think asking the right, very strategic questions and just listening. And sometimes I'm listening to their tone or how quickly they answer, or if they even have an answer, or if they're making something up. Like, it's not even about what's coming out of your mouth. It's more about like your reaction to the question that I just asked.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just gotten to be more strategic, and that's been helpful because it's really hard. People are prepared.
The one interview we just did, not that long ago, it was in the summertime. We sat down and I was actually in on it with you, Monica. And it was the best interview ever because I feel like we didn't talk. They talked the whole time. They told us everything. It was so good because she just literally sat there and answered all of our own questions. We didn't even have to ask anything. She was just so forthcoming and it was fun.
Yeah.
So, I like those kind of interviews.
Some key questions though, I feel like that we've learned over the years is like brand awareness. What do you know about our company?
Yep.
Do you do you follow us on social, like things like that? I feel like if they're really wanting to work for you, like that matters. I think a big thing with our company is growth. So like asking them like what inspires you, when's the last class you took, like things like that. It's like what you said. I'm not listening for what their answer is, but like, do you have an answer?
Exactly.
Yep.
So for me, 2 things. One is I want to know why you're interviewing here.
Yeah.
I want to know, where were you? Why are you leaving where you were? Tell me the reasons that you're unhappy or, that's prompting you to go look elsewhere. I want to understand actually why you have applied to our company. And that is a very tricky question. So if any stylists out there or apprentices are watching, I just want you to hear me when I say it's what I'm looking for in that moment is to understand how you feel about the current place that you're in and whether or not you bash them. Like, that's kind of what it is, because I have asked that question before and it has been a 10-minute drama about how much they hate where they're at, their bosses are toxic, their coworkers are toxic. It's absolutely awful. They don't offer this, they don't offer that, and it's just like event sesh, and that's a red flag to me.
Well, I think that in their mind, they think that's like good because they're bashing where they're at because they want to become part of you.
Yeah.
But it really just
it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
It really just lets us know that you're down to talk shit.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
It's so true.
All right. Well, speaking of red flags, what are some other ones? I have one that Dana wanted. If Dana was sitting here right now, her number one red flag would be
What?
Tell us.
if you're doing a Zoom interview, you better not be in bed. Remember she did that interview and the girl was like laying in bed talking to her.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's like, I literally just wanted to like hit exit and just exit right there.
I think there's like a spectrum of communication, and I think if they talk like too much and like don't let you get a word in, like that's a red flag to me, kind of.
Oh, that's what we were just talking about though. But I love that.
You do?
I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah, I think sometimes like
some people are just nervous and they just
Yeah, but I feel like you can like tell when they're nervous, but also and like on the other side, like tell that they just care about like themselves, and it might be different with each company, but I feel like we have a collaborative environment, and when it's like constantly just like talking about themselves the entire time, I feel like that's a red flag to me. And then on the other end of that, like not having any questions, like no, everything sounds good. Yeah, no,
I do like the questions.
Huh?
I like the questions.
I like them too, but they stump me as a person. Like I've been asked that before, and I'm just like I was at the doctor's, and they're like, "Do you have any questions?" I'm like, "No, you just answered everything that I had.
Yeah,
like, everything in my head you just went through. So like, I really don't have any questions."
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so that wouldn't be like make or break for me.
So we get through the interview process, and now what's next? We're going to bring them in for a shadow shift or something.
Yeah,
what are we looking for in the shadow shift?
Validation. But the same thing, like asking questions, being interactive with the team that they're with.
I think their vibe is the biggest thing in a shadow shift. Like you can tell from day one if they're going to be with you or against you. Like you just know whether they're going to be part of your team and blend in pretty well, or they're going to be resistant to everything you do and all your your ways, and that's a red flag for me.
I find that sometimes the shadow shift is such a great key component in the interview process because they show up slightly more relaxed around the team than they do us. Yeah. So I think that's where it's really important that you're strategic about whoever you have that person with, because that whoever they're with, you want to really give you an honest and honest feedback about the situation. Like, hey, she was great, or I don't know, man, I didn't get the best vibe. She was asking me a lot about how quickly she can get on the floor, things like that are just like, okay, like, this might not be the right fit. But I do think that is one of the biggest things, is that you just have them paired with somebody that you can trust their opinion.
For sure.
Yep.
You even have to get good at deciphering the feedback from your team member. Like I've noticed just lately, like they don't want to be like, no, like, because it's like a big deal, I think, for like hiring people. Like they don't want to be the person that like doesn't get them the job.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times like they'll try to sugarcoat it, and I'll just be like, hey, like I'm picking up like this is how I felt. Do you agree?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, yes.
Yep. Yeah, that's amazing. So the fact is that 22 to 30% of new hires quit within the first 90 days.
20%?
22 to 30% of new hires quit within the first 90 days. I feel like
that really hasn't ever happened with us, though, has it?
It happens.
It does?
It definitely happens. And the thing that I would say on that stat is I wonder if it's quit or leaves or is let go.
Is let go.
Like I feel like that feels more
I was going to say,
fitting.
like, we've had more people let go, I feel like, than quit on us.
Yeah. We've had the situation where like the first month and it's like 2 call outs. Yeah. And you're like, yeah, this isn't going to work, or I'm running late, or I'm caught up. Like, it's just like, unfortunately, we're not going to be a good fit because it just doesn't work.
Yep.
All right, let's get into onboarding. So now we have this person hired. We decided they're going to be a good fit, and we move into onboarding. This is something that we recently shifted and has been such a game changer for us with Emily taking over onboarding.
Yeah, it's also like an evolving thing too, like
it is.
onboarding, like when you start to accumulate like new platforms and things like that. And then also like if you're somebody who's raising your standards like constantly, you have to like update your onboarding process to let whoever new hire in on what's new, you know? So onboarding isn't like on point for us at all times, but I feel like it's definitely evolved. It's something that we're working on again this year. I feel like.
I don't know. See, I personally feel like our onboarding is very strong right now. And I know that it has been difficult. And I think the most difficult piece for us is typically that we have 3 locations and making sure that all of them are doing things the same way.
Yeah.
But independently, I feel like onboarding is pretty good. It's just making sure that it's all done the same way in each location. With that being said, I can go back to the days where like we would have a new hire and I would have like a black folder with like all of our printed papers in it, like a welcome message from the owners and like our core values listed and like.
Hey, don't knock that. I don't love the digital world. I like the papers.
I know, but like that was what it was.
I probably still have a copy of that folder, though.
I know. It's retro and
It is.
I love it. But anyway, I feel like at least we had something, you know, back then, like we did have something because I feel like there's probably a lot of businesses out there that don't have anything. And it's just, hey, show up day one and you're going to shadow, you know, like our dad, like his company definitely doesn't have some sort of formal onboarding process. It's like, hey, show up at 7 a.m. in your work boots and like get into it, you know? So I feel like we do have it under control, but I do think that, that onboarding for companies is a really important piece because if it feels chaotic to that individual and they're kind of thrown into it and there's no structure or there's no like person that they should be dealing with, it could feel really lonely, you know?
It can be overwhelming, but I think it's also onboarding. The onboarding process is super important for business owners as well because it's a really good indication of somebody's work ethic. And I feel like, you know, if you have an employee that is embracing the onboarding process and showing up early and being prepared and ready to go and asking questions, I mean, that's a really good indicator in that short amount of time that, okay, they're going to fit in really well with us.
Yep.
It gives you a little bit more insight into them than just a shadow day. Because now you see how they're working on their own. Like now, okay, you're in charge. You got to do these things to get through your onboarding. And if it takes them forever to get through it, it's like, are they motivated? Are they lazy? Like you can get a lot of good indications with an onboarding process. So I think every company, it's super valuable to have one.
Well, it's interesting because I think something that you said about like almost like having a mentor, I guess like accidentally kind of did this with 2 team members who were like in charge of taking, you know, our new apprentices under their wing and kind of them showing them the day to day and how to multitask and what's important and what's not. But I've noticed that the people that train with them are like drawn to them and like they feel secure because they have somebody who's like, you know, in their corner and like they can go to whenever they have a question or a concern or anything like that. So
yeah, that's true. And I think with that, I think it's good you'll be able to like that person who they're training with really can get a good vibe, like a good feel for them and know, like, are they like egotistical? Are they willing to learn? Do they want to learn our way? Or are they going to sit here and tell me their way? Like, I
or
think
even like, hey, this person might not work out, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's true.
That definitely matters.
And we know what else I think really matters in an onboarding process? I think feedback. If there's somebody that can accept feedback, because I think onboarding is probably one of the best times to give feedback because you're setting the tone for their career with you. If they're accepting of feedback or if they're like a little bit resistant, like that's an indicator too that could be a red flag down the line.
For sure. And now that you say that, I got a text message last night from an apprentice who I had. She unfortunately missed the opportunity to have the formal training under Peyton and Page, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It was kind of just getting started at that point. I think it was done at Wayne, but Newtown hadn't gotten involved yet. So I ended up having her go over there because I thought it would be beneficial for her to have that training before we got into holiday. And I got a text from her last night, and I need to send it to them because it was so nice. But she basically was just saying how supported she felt, how positive her experience was. And even she mentioned Cecily, like just feeling support from someone that was able, you know, if you need anything at all, I'm here. Any questions, any clarification on a technique or skill set, I'm here to help. Like that was like everything. And just having her text me last night at like 9:00 over that, I was like, God, that's so nice. Like it just feels, she feels supported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Had you mentioned something important about the feedback thing? I think one of the things that we talked about with Peyton and Paige is like sending out a survey like 30, 60 days out and just saying like, hey, this person's new. How are they doing? What could they improve? So I think that really makes a difference
for
too.
Sure.
Yep, absolutely. I love that.
Any red flags with onboarding that you guys know of? Like anything that like jumps out at you during the onboarding process that would maybe be like a red flag, like this is not going to work out? I have a couple.
Good.
I just think somebody that comes in and they don't, it's like they make comments like, well, that's not how I learned, or that's not the way I do it, or at my old salon, like, you know, you don't want to hear that. Like you're here for like the new way, and that's why you wanted a new job.
Yeah.
I also think somebody that's not willing to like get to know your team and like sit in the lunchroom with them and have lunch and converse, and they're like, I'm just here to do my own thing, like that's a red flag too. Like that's not what you're looking for.
No.
Well, that's not what we're looking for.
Yeah, no. The other thing, I think that one of the biggest things that we find in our interviews and why people are pursuing our company is that they want a growth plan. They want to understand, what does it look like? Like, what does my map look like? You know, I'm starting as an apprentice. How quickly am I going to go through this program? Once I get on the floor, what does my, progression look like? And I feel like a lot of salons don't have that piece figured out. Maybe not a lot, but I think there's a handful of salons that don't have a clear growth plan.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that could deter someone from staying with a company. So I do think it's really important that you have clear growth maps, because I think it honestly prevents turnover and keeps your morale pretty high.
Yeah.
But that's just something that I did want to mention.
And the most important
Alicia's favorite one. Go ahead.
What do you think I'm going to say?
Unclear pay?
No. I was going to say your gut instinct.
Okay.
I feel like there's been so many times where I've like ignored my gut because I'm like, oh, like I'm judging them or I'm not giving them a chance. And then like it bites me in the ass.
Yep.
True. I also think for salon owners, it's important to note that if you have somebody going through your onboarding process and they aren't willing to do, like, and I kind of just talked about this, but like if they're not willing to do things your way and the salon's way and learn, and they're kind of like stuck in their old salon's ways, I feel like that's not onboarding. That's more of like a rebellion. Like, I'm not here for you. I'm here for me.
Are you stung right now? Keep bringing this up.
Stung with what?
Did you get burned?
She's like, actually,
let's go back to like what I talked about 5 minutes ago.
That's funny.
Sorry.
All right, guys, what's the worst hire that you've ever made, and what did you learn from it?
Oh.
Let me answer this question for you.
I only hired one time, so go ahead, just answer it for me. I only hired one person. Well, two people.
Heather
but
hired
it was in
somebody.
1 day.
Heather hired somebody while Mon was on vacation, and the girl picked up a mouse with her bare hand.
It wasn't our mouse. Wait, can we just make that clear? It wasn't our mouse in our salon. So we work next to a restaurant. We're actually sandwiched between two food sources. So
and I'm actually upset that she got fired because
she didn't get fired because of this. Let's be clear.
I know, but like I like that raw dog energy. She's like Ozzy Osbourne.
Like, I'm just going to handle biz. Like, I know. I mean, listen, I thought she was great for the company. Listen, I hired not only a stylist, but an exterminator.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, but that's not why she got let go. But
I'm going to talk about the hire that we had, the one that prompted this, that was hilarious. And I kind of like this dude, but it was just an interesting hire is all. But yeah, so one of our team members was like, hey, I have this guy I used to work with. I'm thinking he would be a great assistant. So we're like, all right, let's meet him. So we meet him. And Alicia, it is a problem. You and I are a problem.
Wait, did you guys interview him together?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. We're a problem when it is like a heterosexual male who's like funny. Like, if you have that, sold. I will give you everything I got. Like, it's just hilarious. We deal with this in sales calls all the time.
Bad.
I actually am trying to get out of a 61-month contract based off of us signing on to something.
Someone that sold you.
Long story short, we sit down with this guy. He's funny. We liked his vibe. We were having fun. in the conversation, he had mentioned that like he had manager experience. Now all of a sudden, I'm like, you're not an apprentice, you're a manager. Like you should be a manager for us.
Oh my God, we've grown so much, guys. Like this just shows our growth right here.
So I'll keep it short, but long story short, this apprentice that we were interviewing ended up leaving with a manager position for our company, and within 2 weeks was probably, I don't want to say hitting on, but making inappropriate comments to our team members, so we had to let him go. So I
just want to say this right now. Like I'm offended right now.
Why?
I'm offended that I get ripped apart and told I'm not allowed to hire. But like hearing this whole Luke.
Yeah, but it's percentage.
I mean, is this serious?
It's ratio.
It's a ratio.
They hired someone based on personality, and not only did they hire him as an assistant, they promoted him to a manager in a matter of 5 seconds. Not even working with the kid one day.
Okay, but
this is
ratio.
Let me ask you this: how many times do your kids get hurt in your care?
All the time.
Because you have them all the time.
All the time.
So
yeah,
it's kind of the
ratio.
same thing.
That's my 1 out of 90.
Ratio. I was only allowed to hire one time, and then I got fired.
And you're 100% fail rate.
Yeah. All right.
There had to have been an
like they all
interview
just blend together because they were just so bad. We got like catfished basically.
That's the one that I'm thinking you're gonna go
like,
with. Yeah.
I just remember onboarding this person and just being completely like slapped in the face. Like, was it me that hired her? Or was it you? Was this the same person? Is she different? Like,
Yeah.
It just like, I don't know. Yeah. Catfishing does exist in the hiring world for sure.
Yep. On paper, it looked incredible. And even like what you said, had like, you liked her, like I liked her. But
that's not all that matters.
It's not all that matters. It is definitely not all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was not good.
We probably could have done a better job with
onboarding.
Background. Backtracking.
Yep.
Like, reaching out to references, which I feel like we
Speaking
don't do often.
That's what I want to ask. I want to ask any stylist or any salon owner out here that's listening. Comment underneath this podcast and let us know. Do you guys do background checks, and do you refer to references?
Yep.
Yeah, I want to know. I just want to know, like, do people go through all of that when they're hiring somebody?
I feel like if there's anything I learned from that, it's probably the reference piece. For like an important role like that, like you gotta like
check up on
really dive deep.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So what we're doing here is a 2-part episode. We're talking all things hiring and recruiting and finding the right salon home fit. So if you're a stylist, make sure that you stay tuned, because the second part of this episode, we're going to talk about all the red flags you should be looking for when you're finding a salon home. If you are an owner, head over to our website, thegohampod.com. We have a freebie there that's really going to act as a great resource for you as you recruit.